And yet I'll go see PI attorneys, dancing on a TikTok or something because Gary Vaynerchuk said that you have to post 150 pieces of content across every medium, and now they're dancing on TikTok. So do it, but don't forget the tried and true, the basics, because you're missing what ultimately, in my opinion, is the best way to connect with people, and that's through human voice. And I think voice matters more than ever in this increasing digital age.
You're listening to the Legal Mastermind Podcast with your hosts Ryan Klein and Chase Williams, the go-to podcast for learning from the experts in the legal community about effective ways to grow and manage your law firm.
My name is Faust. Obviously, I'm the president of Ringboost and one of the co-founders. What Ringboost specializes in are all kinds of phone numbers for business owners, whether it be vanity toll-free numbers like your 1-800-HURT-NOW, your 1-800-INJURED, those kind of numbers. Local numbers, so any area code, vanity or easy dial, could be 222-HURT, 222-2222. The same in local and toll-free. We do easy dials, we do vanities, and we also do tracking numbers. So really our core business is all about providing business owners, and maybe for the purpose of this phone call, law firms, with numbers that they can use in their marketing to drive more voice interaction. I got into it because when I was growing up, I always knew that I wanted to be in the phone number business. No, I'm kidding. Actually, have always been a salesman, always been an entrepreneur, business owner. And the way life takes you, and which is what I try to educate my son about, is, I had a degree in economics, and I was in sales, and I met a guy playing softball, was going to a tournament, needed some good players, and he happened to have a good game. If he didn't have a good game, I wouldn't be in this business. So he had a good game. I said, hey, we're going to a tournament. I need some players. Wound up working out, and he came to a tournament, and I said, so what do you do? And he told me all about his home healthcare company that he had started. And he had gotten the number 1-800-HOME-CARE because he was a marketing guy, saw the number and got it, and started using it for his business, and realized that it increased his call volume, increased his response to his advertising, right, just from having this great number, which he featured. And then he learned sort of by accident that you could take that number and break it up and license it to other people in different markets. So he learned that by happenstance. So he licensed 1-800-HOME-CARE to a company in Arizona because he was only in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, right? So, and he charged them a monthly fee. So all of a sudden he said, wait a minute, this is a cool business. So he started acquiring other numbers and doing the shared use model. And then one thing led to another. He had an opportunity to sell the home care business and get into the phone number business full time. And that's right when I met him. It was right before he sold his company. We went to the tournament. We talked about it. He said, you're a creative sales guy. You should join me. And let's go build this company. So, the best laid plans of what you study in college and blah, blah, my entire life took a different turn because I met a guy playing softball and left my career and helped build this business.
That's pretty incredible. And then more specifically, if you were kind of over there in healthcare for a bit, how did you transition or get more involved with law firms then?
Well, I was never specifically in the healthcare business. He was. I came on board to build the number business, and we were targeting everybody, and we still do. I mean, there's not an industry you can name that we don't work with, from your local dog walker to the Fortune, 100 firms, and every roofers, real estate professionals, you name it, franchises. We do it all. I just identified about, I would say 10 years ago that the PI and mass tort lawyers were the largest advertisers in every market. They had all the billboards. They had the back of all the yellow pages. If you traveled, they were on the TV. So, the value of cases was high, heavily, a lot of competition. And so I just sort of said to myself, hey, this is a market that we should focus on a little more heavily because the value of having these numbers to them, is greater as a differentiator to get the most out of the tens of thousands, if not millions, they're spending on media. So I started to just penetrate the market more with first email marketing, going to a couple shows, and that just led to this sort of a big growth in that area of our business.
So I'm sure a ton of people are curious, what's something like 1-800, like car accident? What would that cost somebody?
Great question. I mean, we have so many different numbers, and it really depends on a few factors, right? It depends on the value, the quality of the number, right? So a number like 1-800-HURT-NOW or 888-WE-FIGHT or 1-800-HURT-91, things like that, right? 800, maybe 888 one-word terms or short, hurt now, those are going to cost more money than, 833, I need help, right? So you look at the quality of the number, right? And then also the size of the market somebody wants to license, because with most toll-free numbers, we license them out by market. So if you're an attorney and you're only advertising in, let's say, Miami and Fort Lauderdale, you can license a number like 1-800-HURT-NOW just for those markets, right? I could take that same number and license it to another attorney in Chicago, another attorney who covers all of Arizona. You advertise it, you're the only one in the market, the calls from that market go to you, right? So that's called shared use. So in that case, we have numbers that, can be priced, $50, $60 per market, and ones that could be $1,000 a month per market. Likewise, I have numbers that in a firm can license on a nationwide basis for as little as $20 a month, and others that can license on a nationwide basis for $5,000 to $10,000 a month. It all depends on the quality of the number, the prefix, if it's 800 versus one of the other exchanges. There's so many factors that go into it. But what I tell all the firms I work with is there is absolutely a number that fits in your budget, because somewhere between $20 a month, and thousands, there's a number that works depending on what you're spending on your media, where you're spending it, and the value of driving more business.
So are you usually licensing a number, or are you brokering it to sale?
With just about all of our toll-free numbers, we license them, because at this point, although the rules are changing, the FCC doesn't allow you to sell toll-free numbers. There are some that you can, very specific rules. We're working on getting that changed because it's sort of outdated. But in most cases, we license numbers. It's exclusive. We provide the firms with 24-hour-a-day call tracking, so they can see every single call that came in real time. And as long as they know that the number's theirs, we can't take it away, and our agreements protect them against that, and we can't change the pricing. People understand it. There are bad companies out there that play games with people. We've been doing this a long time. We're hitting 5,000 companies 7 years, BBB rated. We have a perfect, if you look at our Google reviews. So when you're dealing with somebody honorable, the line's going to work and you're not going to get, kind of screwed with. Firms are okay with it. And on the local number side, on the local number side, we absolutely can sell them outright. The rules are different, so we sell those all the time.
I have a question about the shared use, because that's actually a concept that I'm not familiar with.
Okay.
So, so if you have multiple businesses around the country using the same number, essentially, how do the calls get routed?
It's a great question.
Is there like a central place where it gets pushed around? Or?
No, so there's a lot of different ways to do it. We ran into a snag about 2 years ago with it. So the way it used to work is, let's say you license the number for Chicago, the Chicago market. So I would take, all the area codes in Chicago, like, your 312, your 872, your 224, 773, whatever it is. And we would set them up in the system. So when someone dials the number, it would automatically recognize where the call was coming from, and it would route, right? Mm-hmm. And then the big thing that popped up about 6, 7, 8 years ago was cell phones, because people were moving around with them. And we created a system where we can, when you dialed, we instantly knew it was a cell phone. We would geolocate you to within a few feet of where you were standing, match that to our routing database, and route those two. The geolocation went away a couple of years ago because one of the companies that was providing that data had a data breach, that people didn't like it, that they had a data breach. So they shut off the location feature. So we're working on solutions now for that.
That's really interesting.
But there are other ways to do it. I mean, we've worked with national franchisor groups. I just did a deal recently, and they have location, so they wanted to put up a recording. Thank you for calling, a Ringboost. If you're calling for our California office, press 1. Our New York office, press 2. Please enter the 5-digit zip code where you live. There's lots of different ways to handle routing.
So when someone's starting up, and maybe it's just two really different situations. When someone's looking for numbers, possibly someone's starting a new practice. So, you have a million different possibilities and directions as you can go. But then people are trying to do specific campaigns. What do you think is more effective? Is it something where it's like, let's say I'm going after like a mass tort case. Is it better to have something that specifically reflects in like a, local number like 561-900-000, or is it a 1-800 number that has like the specific drug or the situation?
I think it's a great question. I think it really depends on where you're marketing. If you're a lawyer, let's say in the St. Louis area, and you're specifically looking for cases in the St. Louis market, then you might want to go with a local 314 number because it says to the people in that market, hey, I'm here, I'm a local, I can meet with you, I can talk to you. If you're a mass tort lawyer and you're advertising nationally, then it's the area code becomes less relevant, obviously. You're running national media, and you could run a grade 800 number. And then it's up to you whether you want an 800 number like 800-222-2000 or 800, 222 meso or whatever it might be. Maybe you like a word, maybe you don't like a word. So it's really, I think if you ask everyone's opinion in your office and you ask everyone have a different opinion. Some people love words that do very well. Other people like digits. And then you run into other scenarios where people are doing national marketing, but they're paying for their media based on response. So in those cases, they might have to get a bunch of numbers because they only pay the media when the phone rings, or they want to figure out which station's working. So they might come to me and say, hey, I need a dozen numbers. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of tracking numbers, but I understand it. And my caveat to them is, look, you're a mass tort lawyer, you're a PI attorney. The value of these cases is high. One phone call could be the difference between a multi-$100,000 million case or not. That if you're going to use tracking numbers, you might as well use better ones. Use 800 numbers and end in a 0-0 pattern, or get a bunch of numbers and end in 10-10. Let's make it as easy as possible, even if you have to track. And I understand that there's a time and a place that you need to track. Don't go random. No one's remembering, listen to a radio station or flying by a billboard, 7 random digits. We're just hit with too much information.
Do you think that the 0-0-0 and the 10-10s are the two top ones that you see that work the best?
No, I think there's a lot of patterns. It depends on the budgets again. I think that, toll-free numbers like good 800s that end in, 1,000, 2,000 or 2222, 3, they're hard to get and they're expensive. Other patterns like 10-10, 20-20, 30-30, or 2,200, 3,300. There's a bunch of patterns we have that if you need tracking numbers, I can get you a bunch, that $20 a month per number, or, go up to $100 a month per number, or more. But when you're talking about, it's always funny to me. I remember talking to a guy who was doing billboards, and I priced the number out to him. And let's just say it was an elite number, and it was, $1,000 a month for him to license nationwide or something like that. And he's like, oh, wow, that's ridiculously expensive. I can't afford it. I'm like, wait a minute. How many billboards are you doing? It's like, oh, we're putting up about 30 billboards. I go, what's the average price of those billboards? And if you average it out, in some markets, billboards are thousands a month, other times. So let's just take a number of 500 a month a board, which is pretty cheap in most markets. So 30 boards at 500. I didn't do well in math. 15 grand a month to put up boards. And that's a pretty small budget for boards. And you're telling me that you don't want to spend $1,000 a month, have a great number across all those that's going to increase response rates, make it easy to remember you. Oh, and by the way, that number can also go on your website, your brochures, your business cards, your radio, your TV. People just have to change their thinking. These aren't phone numbers. They're response tools with an obscene rate of return. They're assets. So to tell me you're spending, 15, 20 grand a month on billboards, which is probably not your only marketing dollars, and then tell me you don't want to spend the money to have a great number, is just, to me, it's crazy. Then why'd you pick your domain? I'll bet you, I talk to lawyers and we laugh. I'm like, did you pick your name? Yep. Your domain? Yep. Your tagline? Yep. Did you pick a couple paint swatches to put up in your office before you chose the color? Yep. Oh, and then you let the phone company give you 7 random digits. Here you go. Here's the next one off the pile. To me, it's just insane. It's like trying the perfect case and having no closing argument. Like, I just don't get it.
Jason and I are saying that we have like 4 blurbs for the beginning of the podcast because everything you're saying is like a perfect introduction every time. So that's
I've done this for a couple of times.
Oh, you've rehearsed it?
I've been talking about this so long, and it's funny because I joke about it all the time. And I love my friends who did digital marketing, and I'm a huge believer in digital marketing. We spend a lot on our website, SEO, pay-per-click, social media. I'm a huge fan of all of it. But those rules change all the time, almost by the week, and you have to be a degreed expert. And the ball always moves. Like, oh man, I just got it right. No, it's not those links. It's these links. No, it's not that content. It's this content. Nope. It's Facebook. It's MySpace. It's LinkedIn. It's TikTok. The ball moves and you have to really follow it. With a phone number, the rules haven't changed since I've been born. They just work. Everybody knows how to use them. You could deploy them in a minute. So it's just one, arrow in the quiver. It's one tool that I don't understand why people are overlooking. And yet I'll go see PI attorneys, dancing on a TikTok or something because Gary Vaynerchuk said that you have to post 150 pieces of content across every medium. And now they're dancing on TikTok. So do it, but don't forget the tried and true, the basics, because you're missing what ultimately, in my opinion, is the best way to connect with people. And that's through human voice. And I think voice matters more than ever in this increasing digital age. But again, let me be clear. I'm a huge fan and supporter of digital marketing. I do it all. So I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying just don't forget to also think about your voice strategy, which is a lot more than just your number, by the way.
You're going to be the next Gary Vee.
I'd love to talk to people about stuff.
So you're talking about change. I mean, I completely agree. I mean, that's a very big thing, I guess, with your industry is like tried and true principles. There's two things that I know that have changed from where I'm staying as an outsider to the industry that I've seen change the most, maybe like in the past five years or so, maybe 10. And it's the rolling out of a lot more toll-free numbers and also like the pound. And then, just a couple characters like Morgan's leverage their pound law a lot.
And it scared everybody and freaked everybody out. And my phone rang off the hook with every law firm and every marketing agency saying, I want one. And here's my kind of 30,000 foot view about those from what I know. There might be data that I don't know. I claim to know a lot of things, but not that. There were only about 12 to 15 total created. It's not like there's hundreds of them. From what I've been told, to get a new one created could cost hundreds of thousands, if not millions, and a lot of time. I've been told by people that Verizon doesn't want to create them anymore. I've also heard they're going to sunset the technology. Don't know what they're going to do with the ones that are out there. But here's some other points. They don't work from any landlines. And please don't tell me that nobody has a landline in the world, because it's just not true. There's a lot of handset phones out there in homes and businesses. I have one in my office. We have 20 in our office. So they work from no landlines. There are some smaller cell phone carriers that they don't work with. So why would you market a tool that isolates everybody that might call from their home or office, doesn't work from some handset carriers, and a lot of people don't know how to use them? You ask my dad, if I said, Dad, dial pound law, he'd probably punch me and then yell law. I don't know what he would do. So when a regular phone number works, everybody knows how to use them. Maybe if there was thousands out there and everybody sort of learned it, but I'm just not a fan. I think it's going away. I think everyone reacted because Morgan did it, but I also see lots of Morgan billboards where they use their phone number or nothing at all, just their website. So I wouldn't go chasing, Morgan. It's a good way to bankrupt yourself anyway. There's tried and true methods that just work, and I wouldn't be chasing the latest, pound dialing. But if somebody insists and they've got the budget, call me and I'll help you try and get one.
And then as far as the other area codes that have rolled out, 800, of course, I believe would be the original one, but then I started seeing 888, 866, and now I'm seeing 844, 833, 822, and then repeaters. So have you seen people's perception of that being any lesser? Like, do you feel like 1-800 and then a bunch of ones versus like 866 and a bunch of ones? Is there like a weird perception for people?
Yes.
Like, this is a little bit lesser. This isn't as much of a quality of what I'm used to.
Yeah. So the way most people think, which is, I don't disagree with, is 800 was the original, right? And you have 800. So that is the original premier toll-free exchange. And if you can get it, great. Not always as easy. If you're looking for them, I have a lot of just tracking numbers and good patterns. Excuse me. After 800, there was 888. Then it went 877, 866, 855, 844, and 833, and that's where we're at now. My opinion is, look, if you can get the 800, great. Most people can't. After that, I don't see a significant difference in the others. Some people in my industry will say, well, 888, it was the second. It's 888, it's all eights. Okay, I'll give you that. It's a little better. I really don't. I think I'd rather have the better number, whether it be 877 or 855 or 866 or 844, the better number versus that exchange. I think they're all close enough. And one thing I wouldn't do, if a competitor has the 800, right? So I'm looking at your shirt because we happen to have cameras on. If some competitor was using 1-800 Chicago, right, as a law firm, I wouldn't use 844 Chicago. Confusing, maybe someone, but if 1-800 Chicago is the Chicago Cubs and I can get 844 Chicago as a lawyer, I'm fine using it. Because if somebody happens to make a mistake, I'm not driving into a competitor and they'll redial and realize they made a mistake. So, there's different answers. But look, I think if you can get the 800, awesome. If not, I think get the best number after that. But we also, there was a perception that toll-free numbers are dead and no one's getting them anymore. First of all, I hate the term toll-free because it's really not what it's about anymore. right? No, everyone's got unlimited plans. It's really they're really ubiquitous area codes. They could be used anywhere. But for all that, there's so many more being used for different things that the time it took for them to release 844 and then the time for them to release 833 was shorter. So obviously more being put into use. Some of that is you have companies that are using a different number to track every visitor. So literally companies are using 2,000 or 3,000 numbers, whereas before they used one. But, it's to track landing pages or things like that, or direct mail pieces.
Are 900 numbers still a thing? I think the last time I heard about it was Miss Cleo.
No, Don LaPrade. So you think you got to make money and not anymore.
That's funny. One day they just turned them off.
Yeah, basically it just kind of phased out. There's a reverse billing of numbers,
Yeah.
I have seen vanity numbers that look like they're like way too long. So like you'll be like 1-800 and then it'll be like 9 or 10 characters afterwards. And I'm like, I thought it would just be 7. How does it work if it extends beyond that to encompass a vanity word? I'm not sure how those ones work.
In most cases with toll free, almost all of them, longer characters work. The phone just starts dialing after you've dialed the 7-digit. You don't even see, here's how I answer the question to people. In most cases they work, in almost all cases. If they didn't, you wouldn't see companies like Allstate Insurance using 888 Allstate, which is 8 characters, or 877 TD Ameritrade, or the longest I've ever seen advertised. And if someone has seen a longer one, please send it to me and I'll send you a $50 Starbucks gift card. 1-800 Royal Caribbean was the longest number I've seen advertised. So with toll-free numbers, you can go over to get a word, phrase. Look, if you can keep it to 7-8, better. With local numbers, I do not recommend going over the 7 characters because in most cases, from what I found, it will not set the call through. Make sure that if you're going local, we look at 7. Toll-free, we can go over. The other thing I will caution people not to do is people try so hard to make a vanity that they have terrible abbreviations. 1-800 law criminal, and it's LW for law, or like those. Or people I have a great vanity number. It's 844-78 debt 92. I'm like, that's like, stop.
I've seen those.
Like
those
you might as well not have a number. You also have lawyers that, like I want 1877. I want one that's Zabisky because that's my name. I'm like, you don't even know how to spell your name. I try, and I don't want to insult anybody, but when I think of numbers, I think of everyone looking at it has a 5th grade education. So let's find ones that are easy to spell, easy to remember, and let's work at that. It doesn't have to be your name. It doesn't have to be injury. It could be, like I have a great lawyer, John Michael Bailey. His whole tagline is "We Fight." So we got him 888 We Fight. It fits into your tagline. There's 1-800 Ask Gary. I have a lawyer in Pennsylvania that his tagline was, do you ever wonder why some clients get more? Why some attorneys get more for their clients? Call 844 Get More. So it could be what you do. It could tie into your tagline. It could be your name. You can get creative. I'm here to help anybody get creative if they want. I will try and give people my opinion on what I think is the best for them. I'm not telling them it's the number. It's really about the power of voice, of connecting with people, emotion, intonation, especially ones who need a lawyer. They want to hear from someone there's empathy, that I'm here for you in your time of need. And voice is the best way to do that. We can type maybe 30 words a minute and maybe understand less. I could talk so much faster. I could ask probing questions. I could let you know, you tell me on a type or a text or a voice, oh, I was injured in an accident. Oh, I'm sorry. That's just flat words on a paper. So don't forget about voice and the power of human connection in this digital age. Voice does matter. Use it as the right tool.
If Paul, people want to reach out to pick your brain some more, what's the best way to reach you?
They could go to my website. No, okay. People could obviously call me. My direct line's 914. Text me. We have chat bots. 914-200-0013. It's my direct line. It's because my lucky number is 13. You can look at our website, ringboost.com. You could email me, paul@ringboost.com. I like to give people all the potential ways into my world. You want to email, great. You want to text me, great. You want to call me, great. You want to go to my site, we have live, my team will answer your questions. So any way that you want to connect with me, find me at a conference. I'm here to help you any way I can, whether or not you're looking to get a number from me or not.
And then how's the process typically work? Do people, I know some websites, they just list out website, like the phone numbers, and they'll just kind of list it by what they think people think is desirable. Do you kind of just do a walkthrough and you do maybe like a questionnaire or have a conversation and then kind of like curate a list based off of that?
Absolutely. Look, if somebody just wants to go to the site and search on their own, they can absolutely do that. I'm not going to stop somebody. But if you're an attorney and you're really doing marketing, you have an agency, you want to talk, go back and forth a little bit. What are you trying to accomplish? Where are you marketing? I'll give you my, 10 years, 15 years of expertise, but ultimately, however you want to do it, if you want to search on your own, go ahead. If you want me to help you, contact us. Myself or one of my team will guide you and give you some options. We have access to millions of numbers you might not see on the site. So by all means, use us as that resource to consult with you. We don't charge for it. You can go back and forth with us for, 20 hours and then never get a number from us. We're here to help. Our passion's helping business owners grow any way we can, which is why if you go to our Facebook group, Ringboost Facebook group, we post articles on growing business, not necessarily about phone numbers.
Thanks so much, Paul.
Thanks for listening to the Legal Mastermind podcast. If you're interested in working with Ryan and Chase, please email mastermind@marketmymarket.com. Make sure to join the free mastermind group for growing and managing your firm at lawfirmmastermind.com. Ryan Klein and Chase Williams are the managing partners at Market My Market, one of the top legal marketing companies in the United States.